Hey, guys. It's me again. How are you? We're just sitting around. I just got up from a nap. I was like tired. I get up so early all the time. Anyways, I only have a couple days left to talk about this trial tomorrow, about what I'm gonna do. And well, I've seen what happens when others have difficult conversations with each other. I've seen it in the park. I've seen it walking down the street. I can see it in their eyes. They're like, God, do we have to talk to each other? And sometimes those difficult conversations. I actually saw Savea and Mia. I told Sean. I saw it in my mind about what was going to happen. I was like, great. I'm right. I heard Tara saying to Steven and telling you girls that she lied. And she lied to you. She took down all my pictures. One, she made, she threw away a lot of Steven's stuff. I always promised to keep a picture of her in the house. I still do. And I was going to give them to you, Mia and Savea. Pictures of her. And I was going to keep them up in the house. I told you that already, that I'd promised that I'd always keep pictures of her up in the house. I do. So I saw a little bit about what happens, and I was sitting there going, oh, he's going to talk to his mother, and she's going to tell him something he doesn't want to hear, but that's okay. Because he'll be like, oh, it wasn't my fault. And all this time, I've been shouldering the blame when it was never my fault. And then I saw some other people, and I was like, I saw these two women, and I was like, those two sisters are talking about something right now that's uncomfortable. And they were walking down the street, and they were like, And I saw other people too, and I was like, oh God, they're going to a picnic, not the one that we're having. That's going to be a good. It's just going to be a getting to know each other picnic. But I saw some other people having a picnic, and I thought those guys are, haven't been together for a long time, and they're going to have a picnic. Sean's friend Martin is still here. He's going to go, I think, on Tuesday is when he flies back out to Vail. I love him. It's good to have around. It's so weird how I just, rarely meet people, and I'm like, oh, I like him already. Or, you're welcome here anytime. Yeah. I haven't seen those ladies out at the Teen Challenge across the way. That's the women's one. And I was at the one that was over on Chicago 19th and something. It's so long ago. I don't not the long-term one. It was some short-term one. I told you I left a day before I graduated. Ugh. I've heard people talking about what come to Jesus about well, I told you the other day about what Sean and I talked about, and what I believe to be true about spirituality anyways is that they were all the same people. Different aspects of the same person. Even that Peter guy. That's a secret that I wasn't supposed to say. He's just wrestling with himself. Trying to save himself from the river, or from the, sea behind him, Standing on the souls, And I bring up Christianity a lot, and it's not because I know, because I was kicked out of Tuesday school and Wednesday school and confirmation. Because I questioned. And that is what Steven does. Steven says, okay, I can believe that your belief is real to you. And then I got these questions. And I'm like, oh, ask. So at this court tomorrow, it's all day. And I'm basically going to go down there and look at myself and say, Judge Edward Wall, you have no authority over Stephen Philip Lindquist's heart. It's right here, and it's free from your judgment. Chris said, well, she's not going to like what happens. And I thought, probably not. In many ways, I talked about this before, but I was watching this again today, and I've known it for a long time. Sometimes I think Sean tries to confuse me to get me sidetracked, but I've known this forever. That animals are sometimes there, and companion animals or others, to teach that person what they didn't learn in a past life. How to feel, or how to care for something, or how to care for someone. And it makes them needed and wanted. And it allows that animal and that spirit of that animal to say, look at my gift. Look at my gift to you. You now get to care for, me as a pet, or me as a, as the lawn, or as, flowers, or as nature, or as, I don't know, things like that. Even like a table. I mean, that's Stephen Philip Lindquist saying, hello, out there. So in many regards, that birthday, 7/11/71, so lucky, that, 1:37 in the morning. What a.m., So, like I was saying with Martin, it's like, Martin, I know you're going to go back to Vail, and something's going to happen, and you're going to be like, oh my God, that was the best thing I ever did going to Minnesota, even though it was under horrible situations. You're going to get out there, and something's going to go, bing, and and I pray it does. I think that well, I said he'll come back here anyways, but it'll be totally different. He'll be like, thank God I went back. Cleared up my business there, and like, Sean and I said he could live here. We got that extra room that we were going to use for you and Samaya. Mia, you and Samaya. So yeah, and I did that experiment too. It wasn't easy, I don't always like the conversations I have with Stephen Philip Lindquist. And I say that like the third person, because I'm like, I can do the second person, and the first person, and the third person. I don't want to get into what I would call it if it was you added another to it. Anyway, so I sat on this side, and then I sat over here, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, there's a stain on the wall. That light switch is upside down, and I thought, oh my goodness, those screws that are in the light, they're not even. Oh well. And I looked over here and I said, oh, you put all the books in weird orders, and there's photos and like in between. Some books are going up and down, and some books are going like this, and some you just laid on the shelf. And you know, and either way, I was like, oh, I'm alright with that. And that's what I saw other people doing. You know, I was sitting there making up stories for them. Oh, there's that cat. Not the one who's always on with me, the other one. He was the crabby one. But he just like, I was getting into bed yesterday and he kept circling until I like laid down. And I was like, oh, that cat. He's got a mind of his own. But I just want to like, uh-oh. He might come on. Oh, there he is. Do you want to say hello? You Dan? Oh, there he is. Look at his eyes, are so different. Yeah. Oh, I know. I love him. He's a cuddler. Bailey is too, but he's a cuddler too. He just sleeps. Well, and sometimes he sleeps like on here. They both do, really. No, like, so on top of me, and like, Sean says, well, they're holding you down from your body. Like, probably. Emily was like, well, they're your guardians, you know. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so, you know, I've had different kinds of animals in my life. You know, the country part of me is just like, well, Steven, you've had like ducks and chickens and hamsters and mice and rats and cats and dogs and pigs and little cow calves and all these little other animals and snakes and lizards, everything. I still haven't gotten that one cat that I want. You know, I'm happy with the cats that I have because I'm like, I know that they need Stephen Philip Lindquist for a reason. Call that crazy. So, again, I'm going to let Judge Wall, Maria, Meyer, and Tara, and the clerks battle it out between themselves. When I leave, when I walk out the door, I'm going to say my mind when I get there, and I'm going to just get up and walk out. You know? Family court is a joke, since it's set up by a system that hurts innocent men and women. Innocent parents. You know, I'd asked in the beginning for things to be different, and they refused. And you know what? And then they're like, oh my God, he's serious. Okay, let's do this. And then that failed because they didn't listen. And so I'm going to just say my piece and walk out. You know? And then start my life again, living for Stephen Philip Lindquist. And as difficult as that is, you know, I've already given up my world and my time and all of my energy. Not all of it. You know, so other people could be happy. And now they're having to talk amongst themselves. And, you know, I know that mothers are going to have to tell their daughters. Ladies are going to have to be like, yeah, we lied about your fathers. And then those women, those ladies are going to go, I hate my moms. Where's my dad? I saw that, Sabea. I told Sean that you would probably grow up to be, you would have the hardest time with feelings, you know. And you'd have got, I saw us sitting around that table, that square table, and that you would have gone in the corner and just hid your feelings because that's what she taught you. Because you were, you know, weren't allowed to express them. And Mia would have flown into a tantrum. I know, I saw it in my head. I was like, gosh, she's just going to go. And, you know, that would have led you to like rebellion, and you would have been a creative, like such, I probably see it, that you were the creative one, the artist, the, you know, you know, and then you were like, where's my dad? And why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you let, why didn't you ever say anything about that? Why didn't you stick it out? And I would say, I did. I did. I might not have been there for you in that physical place that you are now, but I'm all around. And there isn't anybody that can stop that. So, I asked Sean to come to court, and he goes, I can't. I don't want to watch that. And I was like, I know, right? Because the truth hurts. It's difficult to be honest with each other. I, you know. But you and me, well, and I and Stephen Philip Lindquist are going to, like, come to terms with something. Stephen is going to start living for Stephen and building a life. I said those ladies are going to end up probably having to, relinquish some of their power. And the men who have been so gentle in our family are going to be like, we were just waiting. It was going to backfire on the ladies one day, the women. They let everything go to their head because they weren't wise. Creative people and people who've struggled and understand the ups and downs of lives. They know how to survive. And Savea, that might mean you might have to ask your dad for some help. Ask Stephen for help. Stephen Philip Lundquist. And Mia, I do not want to see you over there. But if you're over there, I'm glad you know the truth now. And I guess that's, I will continue to talk about different things that I run into and different ideas and stuff. Maybe. No. I talked about magic before. And I talked about the old ways. And in many ways, all the same stories have cycled through history, and they all have like a central theme around them. And some themes are about sacrifice and gain, and sacrifice and gain, and sacrifice and gain, and sacrifice and gain. And throughout time, in my time, there were people who sacrificed and gained, and sacrificed and gained. And Lord knows I did. So I don't look at what I'm doing as a sacrifice so much as I look at as Stephen has done all the healing he needs to do. Now I'm shouldering that responsibility back on the people who need to work on it for a while. And that means you and me out there need to start talking. I will continue to like put these on YouTube and other places. I'm going to talk about some other things, though. I'm going to talk about where Stephen's life is going and what directions he's taking. And what directions, Lindquist's. You know, I made this little, well, I lost my red one, so I was like, this one got all, there was a few different strings on it. It just it holds together that fishing line, because it kept unraveling. Anyways, I love you. And I'll talk tomorrow. I'll talk more tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be one of those days where I'm just like, where I've had enough. I'm going to take some time from Stephen. And that might mean that the court has got some really difficult things to look at, or myself. I've got to look at some really difficult things tomorrow in court. And I got to let go. Oof. Look at my life has cost. Wow. It's not going to be difficult, not for Stephen. He gets the fire out of the way first. I always, I told Martin, I dive right into the fire. I have my whole life. Walk through it. I'm like, great. This is horrible. Horrible. And I just am like, only when good things happen for me, or for Stephen. Me and you, though, are going to have to, realize where the center is. And that means over here and here and here, I'm going to have to do some talking about where you want to be in that equation. And I mean me when I say you. And I'm not joking. Or joshing. As the joke is.